Hey, thanks for checking out the Route 56 recap this week. Our story this time was Kissed, Cuffed. It's that story where Jesus is betrayed by Judas with a kiss and then arrested by a group of armed men in the Garden of Gethsemane. So it's a moment in Jesus's life that's really kind of sad. He's been betrayed. His disciples run and leave him. But at the same time, we see Jesus fully in control, fully knowing what's happening in the situation, um, and going willingly to the cross to die for us. And so we gave the kids a lot of insight into just Jesus being in control of the situation. A couple of the highlights were one of them, if you know from the story, one of the disciples chops off a ear of a soldier, and Jesus puts the thing back on and says, I could call down like legions of angels if I wanted to, but we're not living by the sword here. This isn't what we're doing. So that's an example. Another example is that Jesus, at that dinner before he came to the garden to pray, that's that Passover dinner, he had told the disciples again and again, hey, I'm going to be betrayed. And he had told them, you're going to leave. You guys are going to bail on me. Of course, they don't believe it. They're confused. And he told them, I'm leaving. And they were confused about that. They almost couldn't hear his last words to them because they were so caught up in the fact that he was leaving. Jesus goes to the garden and he's praying, and he gets that no answer. But as we said earlier, he follows God, even though the cup that he's bearing, they use that language, that it's painful, it's hard. So we see God in control, and it just reminds us that we can really trust God with our lives. Like, even when we're going through things that we don't understand, even when prayers that we pray, they come up with a no answer, we can trust him and know that his plan is taking us to a good place, and that his purpose is so huge in our lives, bigger than what we can even understand. We gave the kids a couple verses to look at. One of them was Proverbs 3:5. That's the verse that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That would be a great verse to sit down with your kids and talk about, and say, what does it mean to trust? What does it mean to trust in someone with your whole heart? What does it mean to not lean on your own understanding? Follow-up verse to that is 1 Corinthians 1:25, and that's that verse that says that God's foolishness is like wiser than our wisdom. And that helps just to remind us, like, God is in control. God knows what's going on. We can totally trust him. So if you're thinking with that, going through those verses with your students, and they are thinking, I do want to trust God. What do I do, though? How do I actually live that out? A big thing they can do is just start doing what God's already taught them to do, what Jesus said in the Bible, and just start applying it. I wrote down a couple of things that might fit with where they're at. One of them is just loving one another. We see Jesus over and over again saying, love one another, care about each other, treat each other like you want to be treated. That's huge, and that could take a whole lifetime just to get good at that. Another one is praying. Jesus says pray, and he gives us lots of instruction about how to pray. And so really to put that into practice, that would be something that would be really important for them spiritually. And then another thing is God tells us, or Jesus teaches, think about what's going on inside of your heart. The inside person matters a lot more than the outside, than how you're presenting yourself or how you appear to others. And that's a good reminder for all of us, and something that your kids might be working on and be thinking about. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys had a great Easter, and we will catch you back next week. All right, thank you. Bye. It's going to take a second for me to figure out how to log off. Okay.